Want to make sure. All right. Okay, Tuesday night training. I'm thrilled about tonight. And let me tell you a little bit about why we're doing what we're doing is because we are in momentum. We have people joining us. We have people that are coming into our community. And there's been a lot of conversation over the last couple of weeks of what's my system? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I onboarding well? Have I forgotten something? Oh, there is a system. Like I've even had that question. And I'm like, yes, there's a system. So I wanted us to work through a couple of things of you finding success, knowing success, being confident about as you ask people to join you, what are your next steps? And so we're going to talk through a couple of things tonight. I am going to share my screen. We're going to pop up some things and I'm going to ask you to just work with me because we're actually going to jump from one tool to another, which means that I have to share screen, stop screen, share screen. So it's not fluid. So just give me grace on that, but hopefully it will make sense as we go through it because I want you to know where you can find certain things. And so we're going to kind of jump around in that so that you can see where the things are and feel really, really confident with what you're doing. Okay, so let me share screen real quick and we're going to get started. Whew. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see if I can click on here. I'm in my own way. There we go. I'm going to close this down a little bit so that I can see what it is I'm doing here. So, all right. Product success system, how to onboard your VIPs. I want us to talk through this, make sure that we all fully understand what we have. So our product success system, guys, this is one of the very first tools that you give to your new VIP. Whether they are starting the business with you or whether they are starting the product and don't want to do the business or whether they're starting the product and they are thinking about the business, it doesn't matter. If they join in any way, if they only get Slim or if they get a welcome pack, you are going to make sure that they have the product success system in place and that you're onboarding them for their success, okay? So let me see, there we go. Okay, so it's very, very simple, but when we don't have ourselves kind of organized or we don't have it in the right places or we're not sure where to go to get it, it becomes very overwhelming and we don't know what it is that we're doing. But this is what I want you to understand. The leaders that have gone to the top of the company, your top 3% of your leaders, whether there's, well, even senior ruby, emerald, sapphire, diamond, the reason that you see those busy men and women finding success with network marketing is because they plugged into something that is very simple and very duplicatable. If you're wanting to grow your organization and you are wanting to multiply and move up and promote, you have to have something that's duplicatable. You don't have time to reinvent the wheel, nor do you desire to reinvent the wheel. You want to have something that's simple, that's easy, and that is duplicatable so that when you have VIPs join you and they share their link because they're loving their products and somebody's like, what is it that you're doing? And they're like, here's my link. They might not be, quote, doing even the business yet, but you have set them up to be duplicatable that when they send that link and their friends sign up, you can say, we have a product success system that I would love. Remember what I shared with you? I'd love for you to send that to your new VIP. And oh, congratulations, right? You get to start a business or you get to have free product. So knowing that, plus when they see how easy and simple and duplicatable that is, it's going to make them want to share even more. So I need for you to hear this. This is not just about you. This is about you growing and impacting other people's lives. You want to put the right tools into their hands because they're going to impact someone. I had an ambassador, or not an ambassador, well, yeah, a brand ambassador. So she is a brand ambassador, not just a VIP. did the business, stepped away from the business, continued to take the products. Guess what? Today, one of her best friends called her and said, I want to start Plexus. What do I need to do? Guess what? She called me. I haven't done the business. She wants to start. What do I do? You want to have the most simple, easy, duplicatable system for her to feel comfortable with, for her to be able to know how to help them with the welcome pack, which one to get. And then once they order, hand them a system that allows that person to be successful. I need for you to hear those things, okay? So these are your essentials. You want to help them join. I will tell you every single day of the week that everything in you needs to be you helping them join, not you sending them your link, not you saying, hey, go just look on the website. I need for you to help them join. You need to ask the questions. What are your health goals? Are you on any medicines? What are some things that you would like to see different about your life? You need to pick a welcome pack and suggest to them so that they are not overwhelmed. You need, if at all possible, to get them on a telephone call or a Zoom and join with them on the phone with you and you asking the questions, because it allows you to tell them more about Me+3 and them adding 3 friends, get their products paid for. Plus, it's an unbelievable accountability system with their best friends and family. You need to share with them about Plexus perks. You get to do all that very organically when you actually are helping them join. So this weekend on Sunday, guess what? I got a call from a brand ambassador who does the business, but she's super busy with her nurse practitioner business as well. And she lives in a whole different state than where I am. And what did she do? She called me because there's a person, a VIP, that's not under her. And I'm like, okay, help me understand what you mean. Well, she joined 2 months ago. I thought maybe she didn't join, but she actually did join because she came into my practice and she told me she's been taking the products, but she's not in my organization. Well, so share with me a little bit, help, catch me up. I need her email, her name, all that great stuff. But how did she join? I just sent her the link. That's where mistakes happen. That's where mistakes happen. And plus, she didn't really notice it for 2 months. So now we get to jump through hoops, which we can totally do, but we'll have to fill out forms. We'll have to move her. We'll have to say, why did we just now notice after 2 months that she's not in the right organization? We get to do all that stuff. But if we would have just gotten on the phone with them, walked through it with them, gotten on a Zoom, done that organic conversation that builds even more belief about all the incredible stuff that they get with becoming a VIP, they would have already been there. Plus, you would have already started training them and already started onboarding them. So number 1 is probably one of my biggest, if you want to be successful and sustainable in this business, you see your customer service hat as one of your top priorities and honestly, one of your secret sauces, because you helping them is going to sustain because they respect, trust, and you're building a relationship. The next is you're going to send them this system that we're talking about. You're going to send that to them immediately, and you'll probably send it to them a second time as you get them onboarded, because you're going to send it, they're excited about it, but I promise they're not going to read it, they're not going to watch it, unless they're a green personality that loves to research, okay? But if they're a fun personality or they are serving other people all the time, they don't sit still enough to look at stuff that's going to actually serve them, okay? So the next is add them to our community pages, our good to great. Make sure that you might have another upline that has something outside of good to great that you want to add them to that community. And then you're going to continue to follow up with them and coach them and have those conversations with them for the next 30 to 60 days. Most probably, even after those 30 to 60 days, as you're sustaining, retaining, having these conversations, you'll probably still reach out to them once a month, every couple of months, depending on how many years they end up being with you. Do you realize that the people that you are signing up right now have the possibility of being with you 7, 8 years from now? It all depends on how you onboard them. How much do they trust you? What's the relationship? How much have you taken care, troubleshoot, all those different things. And then lastly, one of the biggest essentials that you have is sharing me+3, helping them bring 3 people, inviting 3 people to join them, to be accountable with them, to all get started together, pays for their products, guys, for the next 2 months. We're guaranteed that they're going to be on it for 90 days because they have the budget. They're not having to cut into their family budget in any way. If you're not sharing this piece, you're missing out on some really big success for their success of them being accountable on the products and consistent, and for your success of being able to grow your business. Okay. The next is the key elements. What are the key elements of our product success system? The key elements are telling them how to take the products, why detox matters, and that they might detox, and that this is a good thing, how to get their products paid for, and that sustained relationship. Once again, if you are growing a business that you desire to have legacy, to have sustainability, to grow to the point of wherever you want to be, Ruby, Senior Ruby, Diamond, a key element in everything that we're doing is having a relationship that goes through the journey, okay? So let's talk a little bit about the success system. And I'm going to show this to you because I've had these wonderful conversations recently and people don't have it, or they don't understand what it is that I'm telling them about. They're not using it at the time. So let me just show it to you if I can even find it. Let's see. There we go. Okay, it's right here. So let's build this out real quick. Here we go. This is your product success system. Hopefully you have seen this. What I do, it's on our page. I can show you where that is in just a minute, because we're actually going to go to the Passionate Pursuit page. If you're on this call or you're listening to this recording, you're growing a business and you're not on Passionate Pursuit, is the name of our business page. Will you make sure that you message me or that you go to your upline and let them know that you would like to be invited into that page, because that's where all of our business tools are. So this is actually what you're going to be sending to your new VIPs, okay? It goes through in such a simple way. They can pull it up on their telephone or on their iPhone, whatever. They can pull it up on their laptop if they have an iPad. It doesn't matter where it is. They have it right there in front of them, okay? So they can see everything. This is the great thing is, see this? It's a link. It goes directly to the video. This right here, the welcome, it's a link. They get to meet our community, meet some of our leaders, be welcomed into our community. So this actually prompts them. So often what I hear about some of our business leaders is there's an anxiety of even following up with people after you have gotten them to sign. For many people, they might say, man, they signed, I don't have to do anything else. Or I have a fear that if I reach out to them, that they're gonna quit. So I don't even reach out to them anymore. Guys, the fear of them quitting comes so much at a higher level when you actually don't even have a relationship with them and you're not building that relationship. This is a tool for you to build that relationship so they build trust with you. And that they know that you care about them and that you want them to be successful. So it goes through what the steps are, writing down their goals, committing to the products. You have hopefully shared with them ahead of time that commitment 60 to 90 days is a really big deal for them to be able to start seeing some of those changes. Talks about drinking all of their water and why that's important and what detox is, and that our body is actually 60% water. There is a reason that we should be drinking water and replenishing. It goes through the keys of them being able to take the product. This is the great deal right here. Triplex combo. It's Andrea Stutt, our nurse, our registered nurse, shares with them how to take the triplex combo so that they can watch that. Okay, so it literally breaks everything down for them. Now, this is what I want you to hear. For some of you, you might say, I actually don't use this chart. I actually do it differently. I onboard differently on products. Don't let that hold you back from sharing this. Don't let that hold you back from sharing this, okay? If you do pro bios before you start bio cleanse, or bio cleanse before you start pro bio, or you do slim with active first and then you add ease, and that's not even in this chart, don't let that stop you from giving them this system, because you are giving the power in their hands for them to be able to read, watch, listen, and you're still going to be onboarding them on how they're taking their specific products that might be a whole different welcome pack. You still get to help them do that, but you've given them all this other information. Okay, so please, please hear me on that. So many people are like, well, the chart's only for one thing, or I was trained differently on how to start them on their products. Okay, that's great. You can do that, but don't not give them this resource. Okay, so then we go through detox. Once again, we have a video for them to watch. All these videos are 3 minutes, no longer than 5. Goes through. I had somebody just last night talk to me about what some of this stuff was. It was so much fun because she was like, but it was on the detox list that you told me. I'm like, well, yes, it was. I mean, I couldn't remember that that specific detox was on there, but she had read every bit of this little success still. So we put the power back into their hands for them to be able to learn some things, and us not just be right there on top of them whenever you share this. I think that this is one of the biggest things, is that there are some people that are very uncomfortable through their detox. We've given them options of some additional things that they can do. So important for them to know those things. Okay, so I wanted you to see this. If you get to a place, here's your what to expect in 3 to 6 months. It lets them know that there is longevity in this. Lets them know that it takes time for their body to work through the process. It takes time for their body to heal. So you are sharing these things with them and giving them this third-party tool that we have learned is so important for them to have. Once again, if you are in a position where you're like, okay, I've not seen that, or I'm not using that, or how do I find that? Make sure that you reach out and ask those questions. It is literally in my notes on my phone, so that no matter where I am or what I'm doing, I can get that information to any of my new people at any moment. Even if they forgot to read through it, or they need to see it again, but they didn't have it in their notes section, I get to resend it to them. So make sure that you have that. That's just part of your customer service, of being able to set that up. Let me just ask real quick before I share. Do y'all have any questions around that? You can put it in the chat, or you can open up your mic. Do you have any questions about our success system? How many of you are using it? I'd love to see, you can put in the chat. I'd love to hear if this is part of your onboarding system. Have you seen success with it? Okay, Reagan, you're using it. That's awesome. Reagan, I know that you have some new people on your team that are building, and I would think that that would probably be a really strong tool for them, of being able to use that. Excellent. Okay, so any questions about it? Anything that you're like, this was in it or wasn't in it, or anything like that? I'd love for you to put that in the chat. I know Michelle's on here. If I don't see those things of, you know, if there's an area that you think that there was a hole in that, maybe put that. Reagan's asking about the other combos. We are looking at that for a futuristic piece. We want to get out the basic immediately. We wanted to get something in your hands for you to be successful. And so that was a really great question. And Michelle, if you don't mind maybe grabbing some of those other questions that I might not see, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, because I want us to keep moving on this. Okay, let's go back over. All right, here we go. Okay, 30-day follow-up. We're also going to look at this. So that product success system that we just walked through, that literally has really everything for them to be successful on the product as far as knowledge goes. The only thing it doesn't have is your live voice. The only thing it doesn't have is your care over your people. You have been called to the people that have come and joined you. They joined you because they trust you. They buy you way over them buying the products. And now you are in a position to wholeheartedly serve them, okay? And this is the next step of serving them well once you get that. And that is a 30-day follow-up system. So it allows you to check in with your new VIPs, share resources to build their belief. You have belief. You're loaning your belief to them, but now you are giving them resources for them to begin to build their belief. And then it is keep it simple. Keep it simple. It's all about the consistency and how to help them win the day for their health and their future. So I want us to be able to look at this real quick. And once again, I'm flipping for you. Sorry about that, but I think it is going to help you because once again, I've had some of our leaders say, I don't even know where this is, and I don't want you to miss it. Oh, I do this every time, guys. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Okay. I'm on our Passionate Pursuit page. If you go to Passionate Pursuit and you actually just put into, you can do customer care, it will pull up. You can do product success system, but here it is. And I want you to see the graphic so that you'll know exactly which one it is. And this is why this is so critical. I need for you to hear this. We're in a momentum and we are seeing energy and we're seeing movement, and the work that we've done in these 3 months are actually going to push us into 2022. The work that you're doing in December is going to move you into next year. I want you to understand, for you to have duplicatable systems in place that are organized where you know where they are is so critical for your success and for you to have big growth. You know, a lot of us say we want to grow. We want 6 people, 3 people, 10 people. We're ready to get to our next level. But honestly, you're not organized to even take on that many people at one time. But when you have systems in place that you know exactly where they are and what you're supposed to do, you're setting yourself up to be able to have momentum of growth in your team and keep it organized. So it's so critical that you understand this. But this is what I want you to see, guys, is that this system of 30 days is exactly the product success system in bite-sized form. So you send to them the bigger system that we just walked through, and they can flip through it, they can read it. Some of them won't even look at it. Their products are going to come, and then you get to break it down in bite size. So maybe they did read it, but I promise you with detox, except for my little friend last night, with detox, most people, whether they read an article or didn't that I sent them, when they actually hit detox, they forget everything that article said. All of a sudden they're like, my tummy's gurgling. Well, that's a detox. I have a little bit of a headache. Well, are you drinking all your water? It could be a form of detox. Oh, really? I have a rash. All of those are on the detox list. They say that they read it. Y'all even talked about it whenever you were actually sharing with them about Plexus. But until they get uncomfortable, they forget it all. Okay? So now you get to give it to them in bite-sized form. So here it is. Day 1 is when they join. That's when the clock starts ticking for you. So you're going to share with them. Like always, for me, whenever I had people join me, I share this with them because I'm either on the phone with them or on a Zoom. Okay. But I still text it to them. We all know that you don't hear things one time and it stick. You have to hear it multiple times over and over and over again for them to go, oh, okay. You have to show it to them in different ways and different forms. That's why we have it in writing as well as in video. Okay. So help them help themselves. But this breaks it down. In each one of these videos is a different video within what we were showing them. This is actually the full piece again. This is your Canva piece. But it has broken it down. Day 8, day 12, day 19, It breaks it all down for them, and it gives them very specific videos for those moments of time. It gives you a way to follow up. I don't know about you, but you might be like me, that you're like, what do I say? What do I do? What do I ask? We've given you all of that right here. So once again, this is what I did when I created this. Guess what? This went into my notes on my phone. No matter where I am, if I'm like, oh my goodness, I forgot to send Patricia and she's been on it for 2 weeks, I go and I see right around where that was and what I haven't sent her, and I can shoot her a text at that moment. The other thing that I want you to hear about this is that when you set these things up, set it up in your calendar. So as soon as someone starts with me, I write them in my calendar on that day that they started with me. 3 days later, 4 days later, I check on them. Have you gotten your products? I make sure that those products have come in and that they've got those and that we're getting started. I remind them of how we're going to start them and what they're going to do the next day once they get those products. So make sure that you're doing that. But then that's what I put those notes in my pages, so that whenever I get to their day 7 and it's my December 15th, I know to go to Susie and send her information on day 7 of exactly what she needs to hear on that day. So get yourself organized with that. You've got the system, you've got it in place. It can go everywhere with you if you put it on your phone, to be able to have that. So any questions around that? Any thoughts that you need to know about? I want to make sure, just super quick, I want to talk about a couple of other things. So anything else that any questions before I move on? Because we're going to move on to the next piece. Everybody's good? I haven't looked at the questions. Okay. Hello, the Mozinator? Okay, I don't even know what that is. Okay, we're just going to move on. I just got distracted. Sherry, you can show me what that is and what you're talking about. Okay, let's go on. Here we go. We're moving on. So I hope that that's good. I hope it makes sense. I hope that you're going, okay, I'm clicking with that, because I will say that some of the conversations that I get to have during the week with our leaders, and whenever I hear that they don't even know what it is or where it is or what to do, and that their team's not using it, or I'm just like, this is our simplest system that you can ever have, that is so duplicatable that it makes anyone like my young girl that was like today going, okay, I don't work the business anymore and I don't even know what to do, but I have somebody that wants to do it. Me sending this to her made her go, okay, I know what to do. I don't feel foolish, and I feel like that I can send something with confidence. So please make sure whenever you have people that are just on the product, but oh, by the way, they shared their link and somebody signed, you send this and say, hey, this is a great way for you to help your person on board. Okay. All right. We're moving on to Win the Day, the IPA system. And I wanted to share this with you because many of you know that we have had a gold summit here in Dallas. We are a pilot for something that Plexus Worldwide is rolling out. And it's been such a blessing for us. And so we met in November with corporate, and we met just this past Saturday, and then we're meeting again in February. And they have gone through this system with us. And whenever we met in November, I plugged this system in. Most of you do this system every single day, but it was super fun to hear it from Genevieve. And she always has a different spin on it. And it was just fun to kind of have a new and fresh way of doing things. And I wanted to share this with you to make sure that every single day you're in some way touching each one of these, that you're really, really intentional. Whenever I think about this, I think about my very first job out of college, and I was working for a large corporation in their event planning. And I'll never forget my manager training and teaching me. I had several clients that I did event planning for. And she said, you have to touch every one of your clients. Every client was a file. Every file was right on my desk where I could see it. She said, every single day before you go home, you have to touch every one of your clients. Every one of these files, you have to touch. I want you to open it up. I want you to think about, is there anything in there that you haven't done that you should have done? Is there a task? Is there somebody you were supposed to call? Is there something you were supposed to confirm? I need for you to do it every single day. And that's what I think about with this win the day, is that there's 7 steps, 7 goals, and you need to at least touch it and say, is there something I need to do within this to win the day and to finish out my IPA? So I just want to quickly run through this with you so that you can hear a little bit of it. So the number 1, the goal of sowing seeds is making sure that you are building relationships. This is where you are building those relationships, engaging with your prospects, making sure that they know, like, and trust you, adding value to them, commenting on your potentials post, messaging with value and encouragement, following hashtags on Instagram and being able to look at those different things, looking for those conversations with your key potentials, not with your team, not with other Plexus people, but really looking and being intentional with your audience that you're wanting to join you in this journey. And Genevieve says, spend 15 minutes in this space of being able to do this. If you want to go at a higher capacity, at a faster pace, then put more than 15. But what I love about this is that you can literally touch these 7 things in 30 minutes, in an hour, in an hour and a half. So breaking that out and being able to do that. The second one is get noticed. And I love this one because the goal of this is to have posts and conversations that are adding value on a continual basis. This also is a 15-minute process of getting noticed. Adding value to people's lives, being intentional with your content. We were talking earlier today, it's who is your audience? And have you named one person that is like, this is the person that I'm going after to join me in this business. This is what the pain point is of the person that needs to start these products, and being able to speak directly to that one person. I think for all of us, whenever we throw things out there, because we want to capture everyone, because everyone has a gut, everyone has skin, right? And so we're just going to send it out to everyone. We actually don't reach anyone. But if we'll say, I'm going after a single person, and this is my friend, this is somebody I care about, this is somebody that I know what his or her pain is, I know what their wants are, I know what their desires are, and you speak directly to them, the intentionality totally changes. And then you get noticed in that. So making sure that you are looking at that content in that way, having your voice in that. Tonight we were talking a little bit earlier with some leaders, and being authentic, not being fake, knowing your emotion and being able to, sometimes that emotion is raw. Sometimes that emotion is passionate. Sometimes there's a conviction. Sometimes there's a care. So being able to see those things and know those things. The third thing is introduce 3 people to your vision. So the goal of this is exposing people, introducing people to Plexus, to your journey, to the vision of what you're doing. Being able to build business builders, connecting people to the business opportunity. Guys, tomorrow night is our Zoom business opportunity with Andrea Statt. I'm so excited about this because she has so many areas of validating and impacting your guest tomorrow night. She's a registered nurse. She is she's not CrossFit at all, but gladiators is what she is. She's like this big workout person, but literally she has 7 boys and she homeschools and she has a very successful business. The legitimacy of what she's going to bring to be able to validate what you have been sharing with your potentials is everything. So if you have people that you are wanting to capture the vision, do not miss tomorrow night in inviting them to be with you. Tomorrow night should have all of your new VIPs should be on that. The call for your business call and for your sharing stories call is always a part of your onboarding your VIPs, period. I have people on our business calls that only want to take product, and they've told me that they only want to take product. But I share with them that this is part of like us onboarding them. This is part of them getting to know our community, learning more about the products, hearing how it's affecting people's lives. And guess what? They get on. They get on. So your belief in these events builds their belief and their conviction of being there with you. Okay. So make sure that you're doing that. That is where you're sharing that with them and being able to have them participate with you through the process. So don't forget those pieces of introducing people to your vision and them being with you. The next one, the fourth one, and the goal of this is get them moving. And what we talk about here, we had a really great conversation about this earlier with some of our leaders of what it looks like to get people moving, to have that momentum in the conversation. I believe Genevieve talks about, I'm sitting here looking back and forth between her notes from November and her notes from December, because they're a little bit different, but it's super fun. But she talked about micro commitments. And I want you to understand this. She put like 7 chairs across the front of the room. And she talked about how a person starts in chair 1 and you move them to chair 2, chair 3, chair 4. And the big thing that we talked about tonight is that there is, you always hear us saying like, make sure that you do 3 asks a day or 5 asks a day. And it was really fascinating for you to build your business, and have growth. You have to actually ask people to join you. But then there's a micro ask, honestly. It's a micro commitment where you're inviting them to know a little bit more. And that's the get them moving. You're inviting them for a sample. You're inviting them to come to a business call. You're inviting them to watch a video. That's the get them moving. You're moving them from basically one chair to the next chair, that micro commitment of continuing the conversation. But this is what I want you to hear. At some point, you have to pull the trigger and ask someone to join you. And I think a lot of times we get stuck where we're like, if I just keep moving them down the chairs, she had 7 chairs, which I do think there's sometimes where it's 11 chairs. But sometimes they're going to fall off of the chair and they're going to fall on their rear end on the floor. I mean, at some point, you have to ask them to join you and pull the trigger on that. And I feel like it's so easy to just keep asking people to come to the next thing because we have a fear that when we actually ask them to join us, they'll say no. And this is what I want you to hear is I need for you to hear if you are getting them moving and you're moving on from one seat to the next, if you're moving that micro commitment and that conversation forward, if you've done that 5, 6, 7 times, and you actually ask them to join you and start the products, join you in this business, and they say no after you have had all those conversations, the greatest thing that you can ever do for them and yourself is to say, what can I do to help you in saying yes? If they say no, ask them, what can I do for you to say yes and join me? Because it might be that you've shared with them about the products or about what welcome pack. But their thing of saying no is that they really want to see the ingredients, or they really want to know if it's really gluten-free, dairy-free. Or so you need to ask them, how can I help you turn that into a yes? And guys, I need for you to be confident in that, because if you have micro committed, if you have moved them from chair to chair to chair, you have built a relationship with them. You have built a trust with them because the conversation is still happening. Otherwise, they would be ghosting you. So don't be afraid to say, how can I serve you? How can I help you? Because I know without a doubt, these products are going to help you. I've seen what it's done for me. You've seen through the testimonies I've given you what it's done for others. So help me know how to make that a yes. I promise you there will be beautiful conversation that comes from that. So the 5th goal is third-party validation. And this is using that third party. Tomorrow night is a third-party validation. Our sharing stories is a third-party validation. A video is a third-party validation. Having a conversation as a 3 people in Messenger or doing a quick Zoom with your upline is a third-party validation. So that is just moving that conversation along. So whenever you sit down to do your IPAs and you need to look at your list and say, how do I need to move Susie along? What's my next step for her? What do I need to send her? What do I need to ask her to continue that? So being able to see that. Number 6, the goal of number 6 is staying relevant on social media. So be relevant whenever you are on social media and having the conversations that you're having. You need to be posting in your stories. You need to be having lives in your story. Guys, tomorrow night is our business event. I hope you hear me say that 100 times. And that means that you need to be live on your lives tomorrow. You need to be posting. I posted tonight about business. You need to be putting information out there, talking in lives. I love to go live. I'll go live tomorrow in my stories about what qualifies somebody. Like what do I see as qualifications for you to have a successful business? You want to tell people the qualifications because you want people to go, I can do that. That's me. That's, busy people that manage their time, people that don't have a lot of time. That's one thing that I've seen. The people that are the busiest are oftentimes the people that are the most successful because they've learned how to manage their time because they have very little time. So I love to share those kinds of things with people. You can do that so relatively in your lives. So make sure that you're doing that. Be very, very relevant in those conversations. And then the last one is duplication. Just like we were talking about with that product success system, you want to have something that's very simple and very duplicatable. This number 7 is you teaching your team to actually win the day. So your duplication is, have I shared the system with my team? Do my leaders know about the system? Do my VIPs have the system? Could they use that system to become more duplicatable? That's only going to have you win the day and see success in growing your business. So being able to understand that and know that. Okay. And then lastly, as we look at this, is just the success principles and being able to know what these are. I want you to think about this. It's having the goals that you're willing to work towards. This is one of the biggest things. We all have goals. In fact, we're in December, the last month of the year, the last month of 4th quarter, the last month to get credits for Leaders Retreat. You have goals for this month, but you need to have goals that you're actually willing to work towards, that you're actually willing to sacrifice, to make some adjustments, to say no to some commitments that really aren't high priority, to maybe saying no to watching a movie on a movie night and using that time to work your business because you have goals that you're willing to work towards. Getting up a little bit earlier on a Saturday morning or during the week, using your lunch hour differently. So have goals that you're willing to work towards and sacrifice some of those things. It's for a season. And I'm not talking about hustling. I'm not talking about getting burned out. I'm talking about you being really realistic and realizing that if you've said yes to this business and yes to your goals, it means that you have to say no to something else. Every time I say yes to someone asking me if I will do something for them, I have to intentionally say no to something else that I'm either already doing or in my mind realizing that if I say yes and somebody else comes with another opportunity, I have to say no to that opportunity. That's what that's talking about there. The second thing is plugging into community. Make sure that you're plugged in. Make sure that you're not on an island. If you want to be successful in this, you need to plug into community. It's those moments when you might have to be vulnerable, when you just desire for people to see you and hear you and say, I'm stuck. It's whenever you celebrate with other people, not compare, but celebrate. It's whenever you get excited because you work with other people and troubleshoot because you're actually in community. And so you feel like that you have a voice, that your voice matters, but you can also raise your hand and say, I need some help. That's so important for this time. And then the third thing is the win the day system that we just worked through. So those 7 steps of seeing those, okay? And then lastly, I just wanted to share this, and that is our Plexus Mission. And I love that we talked through this over the last couple of months. And I really want you to hear it because I think it's so critical and so important. But the mission statement for Plexus Worldwide is to ignite hope, health, and happiness. And I absolutely love how Genevieve defined it and shared it. And it got me excited because, guys, I can align with this mission. I am totally on board with this mission. In fact, it even will help you think about how to write content, how to post, things to share, things to go live with. So ignite means to give energy and life to someone or something. When you ignite something, you are giving energy and life towards that. How can you ignite someone else's passions, their desires, their future hopes? You are on mission to get to do that. You have the privilege of doing that. The second is hope. It's a feeling of expectation and a desire for a certain thing to happen. We always talk about, you'll see hashtag hope dealer. Like, what does that mean? How are you giving hope? I think we have some of the greatest privilege of coming alongside men, women, families, generations to come and giving them hope, whether it's their health or their finances or time or quality of life. A feeling of expectation. You are giving people an anticipation of their life looking different. I will never forget this when I started 8 years ago. The hope that I had and the belief that I had that these products would work, that they had to work, that if they didn't work, I didn't know where my life was going to go. Guys, medications are not the way. I so desired to find myself again and to have energy and have a desire to spend time with my family and not feel like I only had a little bit of time before I just needed to go and chill. Like, that hope and that anticipation was everything for me. You get to ignite that into somebody else. The other thing is hope, a state of being free from illness or injury. You get to ignite that health into someone else. And then the last one is happiness, a state of well-being and contentment. A state of well-being and contentment. We have seen lives change because they have a state of well-being. We've seen lives transform because of the hope and health that they have received. There's a byproduct of happiness that comes with that. So I want you to see that, know that, believe that. Can you align with that? Can you say, I am all in on being that person that ignites that and impacts other lives through that process? I hope that that is something that gets you excited. So with that, I'm going to stop for my last time. I hope that that was helpful. I hope that that was good. I'm going to stop the recording. I do believe without a doubt that the two systems that I just gave you, if you will plug into those two systems, both of them have duplication aspects. If you will do the win the day, if you will share the success system, you have everything that you need to grow. You have everything that you need to follow up, to do customer care. You have everything you need literally to write content, to think about lives, to figure out how to share, to know how to follow up with the next person. So if you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.